One of the advantages of living in Siberia is whenever you travel by air, especially abroad, is you're sure to rack up a lot of travel miles. However, when it comes to traveling within Russia, sometimes flying isn't the most readily available option. But there's always the train. Obviously, it's not. Obviously, it's not the fastest, and you have to take a full day or two into consideration for your travel itinerary, for the journey itself. But it can also introduce you to how this method of travel has become part of Russian culture, whether you like it or not. That all depends on the level you choose to go by. The most economical is what's known as Platz car. This is what we would refer to as coach. And this gives you the opportunity to enjoy the sights, the sounds, and in some cases the smells, with up to as many as 53 other people. Then there are the coupes, and these are the cars that have 9 individual cabins that can house as many as 4 people or only 2 people, which is referred to as luxe coupe, or first class. Obviously, luxe coupe is going to offer you the most privacy. A ticket for luxe coupe is about 5 times that of a Platz car ticket. But when it comes to the exchange rate between the dollar, the pound, or the euro, it's not that big of a difference. And if you're not that experienced when it comes to sleeper car train travel in Russia, and you want to keep the unexpected surprises to a minimum and still take advantage of some of the perks that come along with riding in luxe coupe, perks that might cover some aspects of the journey you didn't take into consideration, it's money well spent. Also, when you take the whole pandemic situation into account, it's probably the safest way to travel other than just driving yourself. And so that's what we did for my visit to the U.S. Consulate General in Yekaterinburg. So come along for the ride. All right, before we go any further, I realize I may have given the impression this video was about riding the train to Yekaterinburg, when in fact it's about riding the train from Yekaterinburg. I'm still working my way through this whole YouTube thing. Anyway, this is Yekaterinburg. If you're like me and have a limited, and I mean really limited, grasp of the Russian language, just remember, getting to the platform, wagon, coupe, and bunk number on your train is a step-by-step process of just matching numbers. Step 1, look for the track your train is on. Even though your ticket will be in Russian, there are translations on the giant signs and displays. Step 2, match the wagon number on your ticket with the one in the car windows. If you're still in doubt, there's always an attendant called a provodnitsa, provodnik if it's a guy, around to point you in the right direction. They're also responsible for checking your ticket and passport before you get on the train, so one way or another, you'll know if you're in the right place or not. Once on board, the final step is going down the corridor and matching your cabin and bed number. After that, get settled, because soon enough, you're leaving Yekaterinburg. Well, we just left Yekaterinburg on time at 25 past 12, and we will be at our destination, Nizhnevartovsk, in a little less than 24 hours. We'll get in around, 11:30? 11:30. So, one of the first things you want to do is take advantage of the privacy that you have in the 2-person coupe, and that is, I just waited until we got out of the station, but really, if you've got this cabin to yourself, it's a great time to go ahead. The first thing you want to do when you get to your cabin is change into something a little more casual and a lot more comfortable for the long journey. Much better. You want to be as comfortable as you can, especially for long journeys, obviously, and usually just a t-shirt, a pair of shorts will work in any season. This is summertime that we're going back home, but you could even get away with this sort of outfit during the winter time. I mean, and even in the dead of winter in Russia, because the air conditioning in the summertime is good, as is the heating in the wintertime in the trains. And you just don't want to feel too stuffy and everything. So now that that's done, just to give you a little idea of what you can expect when you come into your coupe, is what's waiting for you is a little goodie bag that they leave for you. And inside that are black tea, green tea, little napkin and an alcohol wipe. A couple sugar packets for your tea. Ooh, mint. And what's also fun is a bar of chocolate, milk chocolate, which is really nice. You also, what? Is this Kazakhstan? This is from where you're from. Sometimes you get is Kazakhstan known for its chocolate? Kazakhstan is famous for chocolate, yes? No? You get a good deal though, but it is pretty tasty, especially with the tea. So anyway, so you get that little goodie bag there. Also, you'll have a half a liter of bottled water waiting for you as well. And a couple of mugs to drink your tea, or if you brought some instant coffee, you can make your instant coffee with a little spoon and everything like that. I don't know why, but this is the first time I've ever had these kinds of coffee or tea cups on a train. Normally, when you travel by train in Russia, and you get a two-person coupe, they have the traditional Russian coffee or tea cups, which are just, it's like glass, but it's inside. I'll put a picture of it and show you and everything, but it looks a little more elegant than just something like this, but it'll work. Once you get into your coupe and you get settled, pretty soon the provodnica or somebody from the dining car is going to come in and take your order for food. They usually give you a free meal in two-person coupe, which is pretty nice. It's not really big. It's moderately tasty, but it does the job. It's a lot better than always having to rely on something like dosherak, like a cup of noodles, or instant mashed potatoes, which I brought as well. But anyway, the meals are pretty nice. Also, they'll ask you if you'd like something to drink. In this case, I asked for water, and they give you another liter. In this case, in the amount of two half-liter bottles of water. So, a nice thing also about riding in a two-person coupe is that you get pretty well stocked up with water as well, which is just one less thing that you have to bring on the train with you. Another thing that's also kind of inconsistent as far as the service that you get on the trains. They're still good, and they're very helpful, and they're very friendly, even in their limited English with my limited Russian. But sometimes what they did for us today is they brought us a menu from the dining car. So if later on in the evening time we want to have some dinner, we can do one of two things. We can order from them now and have them deliver our dinner, anything that we order off the menu. They'll bring it to our car, or we can obviously go to the restaurant car as well. Sometimes you'll be on trains and they'll already have the menus there waiting for you, but this came from the dining car itself. And the nice thing about it is that they do have English descriptions of what the meal is as well. So that's really nice. Is it a little pricey? Probably, but then again, it's a pretty diverse menu too. Lots of interesting things on it. So obviously the lovely thing about having a two-person coupe is you've got this whole bunk to yourself, or whole berth rather. You got two wonderful, very comfortable pillows, and you got the blanket that you can use as a sheet or a comforter. Anyway, that's for bedtime. But what's waiting for you on top of them, should have been on top, is the amenity kit. And all you got to do is open that up really nicely. Doubles as a little travel tote bag. Nice souvenir. Very important. Slippers. Very comfortable. One size fits all. RGD slippers. You can just walk around the cabin. Yeah, get a good shot of my socks too. Socks are another status symbol in Russia. But there you go. So you got the slippers. Also, another alcohol wipe, shoehorn, comb, I won't need that, toothbrush, toothpaste, a little sponge for shoe polishing or buffing up your shoes, and a nice little miniature bars. So again, not something you normally expect just by riding in a train. There's a little handy travel kit as well. So a little quick tour of your coupe, your two-person coupe. You got the 2 berths on either side. You also have a couple hooks here that they give you hangers, 2 hangers each, so you can hang your clothes up there. Plenty of space up here on top for suitcases. They also give you another shelf on either berth or above either bed as well to put more things. What else can I tell you? Light switches. It's pretty overcast and we've got all the lights on. You've got lights, you got 2 lights on either side next to a mirror here, as well as, like I said, the overhead lights. And then these aren't working, but in theory you should have some reading lights, but oh, it's still daylight. That's all right. Also, you have outlets on either side at the head of your bunks for charging, as well as 2 other outlets by your door. This door will lock. Pull it in tight enough and twist it in. Locked in. Usually though you don't have it. And to be honest with you, if you want better circulation, it's always nice to just leave the door open. Nobody really cares. Nobody really walks by anyway. And since there's only one 2-person coupe on this train, you're not going to have a lot of traffic. All the Platts car people the cabins are down that away, and I think you have one other cabin of 4-person coupes before you get to the restaurant car. So the lovely young lady from the restaurant car just brought us our meal, which is included in the price of our 2-person coupe ticket. This is something that, it just depends. Sometimes they bring it to you maybe an hour and a half, like we've only been moving for like the last hour and a half. Sometimes they bring it to you a little later and everything. But at the same time, it's nice to have just kind of it's like a late lunch, a nice hot meal here. So I had looks like a boiled beef with some mashed potatoes, a little bit of dill, and some miniature pickles. I get my bread, wheat roll and a white roll. The borscht. Borscht is usually, I really like the borscht on the trains here. Some might be a little salty for some people's taste, but it's really nice. With a little dollop of smetana and more dill. And then you have your little fruit plate. Again, freshly wrapped. Some grapes, some apples, some pears, and oranges. Nice. And then, what'd you get? Can I unwrap yours, babe? Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah, she got the riba, or the fish, with a little cheese, a little melted cheese. Ooh, some boiled potatoes and dill, and then nice little mixed green salad. It looks like, or maybe like a coleslaw with some cabbage and more dill, cucumbers, and possibly some onion as well. And then you can unwrap your own fruit. All right, baby. So there we go. So again, is it the best? Is it 5-star dining? Of course not, but it is. It's really nice and it's really satisfying, and it's nice to have a hot meal that is made, unlike, if you just bring in your own bag of doshirak, a cup of noodles, or instant potatoes and things like that, which I do have some left over, and I'll show you what that's all about, maybe for a snack before dinner time, if we don't go to the dining car for dinner later on today as well. So anyway, I'm going to dig in and enjoy. See you later. But aside from the privacy and quiet, things like the meal, extra water, and travel kits are some of the added perks that come from traveling in Luke's Coupe. But there's another amenity located at either end of the car that offers another advantage. Only in Luke's Coupe do the toilets have sewage tanks, so you can use them during stops at other towns along your journey. The toilets on the other wagons are locked during the time the train is idle at stations, because whatever you flush out of them becomes part of the Russian landscape. Most stops in rural towns aren't for very long, so it may not be much of an issue, but isn't it always that when you don't have something, that's the time you need it most? So we're about 6 hours into our journey back home, and we're about to pull in the next 5 minutes or so to Min. In fact, we're probably doing that right now. Usually when you stop in bigger cities, you have a longer time at the station, and I think here we'll have about 40 minutes. The fact that they're turning the lights off now shows that we're pulling into the station. Usually the power to generate won't be into your outlets or into your reading lamps and things like that, but your overhead light will still be on when you pull into the station. But until we leave and get out of the city, the outlets and the lights won't be working. So we'll have a little bit of time, about 30-40 minutes, to get out, stretch our legs, get some fresh air, and experience all that is of Tumen. Like Yekaterinburg, Tumen is also a stop on the Trans-Siberian Railway. The walkways, which you take from the platforms to the station itself, are an ideal spot to get a good view of the main building and all the activity below. And really, the best place to get that much-wanted fresh air, because it's high enough above the billows of vape and cigarette smoke. There's also kiosks where you can buy snacks, drinks, or toiletries not offered on board. 40 minutes later, we're leaving Tumen, and with dusk approaching, so does our desire to visit the restaurant car. So this is a version of a restaurant car on a Russian train. And what's interesting, all the Russian cars that are Russian trains that I've been on, they usually come in two color codes, green or red. And tonight, the train we're on today, we're on the red train, the red restaurant car. The thing is, this one seems a little more outdated than the other ones were. Some of them, you'll have like a little bar area where you can see the different liqueurs, vodkas, and beers that they have to offer. Here, they don't have that. But at the same time, it has a really nice homey feel. Again, staff is really nice. Nostrovia. I've lived in this country for almost 8.5, 9 years, and in my opinion, this is still a little bit of a vacation for me too, because this is going out and experiencing the real Russia, not just some tour guide in Moscow. All right, so here we have. Look at that, they give you a little fish plate. They give you a little fish plate. How about that? So you've got the herring with onions and boiled potatoes, and I have the salad narcissus, the salad narcissus. Oh my God! Look, more dill, which has got some greens, a little mayonnaise, and beef tongue. Good stuff.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Priятna appetit. It's actually really good. How you make your bed is up to you, but another advantage to Luxe Coupe is that at the end of the journey, you don't have to gather and fold the linens to give back to the Provodnitsa, as is necessary in Platzcar or the four-person coupes. Again, not a major issue, but just one less thing you have to deal with. The bed itself isn't plush, but still reasonably comfortable, so you shouldn't have any need to visit a chiropractor afterwards. At the end of your car, there's a huge samovar ready to dispense very hot water, which is perfect for that morning cup of instant coffee before changing clothes, getting your belongings together, and reaching your final destination, which, after a good night's sleep, usually comes sooner than you expect. Watch your step when getting off the train, and be ready to feel a little bit of its motion for a couple hours, especially when standing still. And that's it. When I was younger, I took several long rail journeys back in the States, and always wished it were a more accepted form of cross-country transportation there. Before moving to Russia, it had been about 26 years since I last stepped on a train. Now, it's almost an annual and welcome occurrence. So in my opinion, regardless of how long the journey is or whatever class ticket you buy, an overnight train ride makes any visit to Russia a complete one.